Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio.
Hey, yo, Elizabeth Dutton.
Zaron, Burnett.
Do you know what's ridiculous?
I do.
Oh. Okay, well, hit me with it.
It is ridiculous to see a tow truck towing a tow truck. Or, as my nephew says...
Do you know what's ridiculous? A tow truck towing a tow truck.
See? Ridiculous.
I like that.
Yeah. That's all I have for you today.
That was a good one, though.
Everything's ridiculous, quite
And
frankly.
the way he says it makes it extra ridiculous.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, Elizabeth, I have got a very special story for you today, and it is que ridiculous.
I like to feel special.
Yeah, it's two things that I know you love. Two great tastes that taste great together. Yeah. Horse racing and fraternity brothers.
Oh, yeah. Top of my list on those. Yeah. This is going to be great.
This is Ridiculous Crime, a podcast about absurd and outrageous capers, heists, and cons. It's always 99% murder-free and 100% ridiculous. Okay, now as I promised, Elizabeth, I have a hell of a story for your two great loves, the American college fraternity system and horse racing.
Oh, my God, yes.
So let's just start at the top. Frat parties. You love them. How many did you go to in college?
0.
Oh, wow. 0.
I did not ever go to one.
Not even by mistake, not even
Nope.
like a friend dragged you. Did you
Nope.
try to avoid them? Did you have a rule against?
I just had zero interest in attending. I worked at the print shop on campus,
Okay.
and they all had accounts with us, and they'd come in and make flyers.
So you knew about the parties.
Yeah, and like I
You
could
knew
have
when they were.
Yeah, I knew when they were, and they were hands down every single time so crazy rude to me, and would just say mean things to me when they'd walk in.
When they wanted something from you, they would come in and be like, hey.
Yeah, they'd be like, like, hey, you freak, we need flyers for this party.
You freak. You're just waving money at you.
Well,
Give us flyers,
I, like
freak.
you now, I had blue hair, and that seemed to really, like, tick them off. I don't know.
They were offended by your freakish flag?
And some of them were so rude to me and, like, offensive that if I saw them walk in, I wouldn't go to the counter, and all my pals, all the guys, I was me and a bunch of guys
So you had
printing.
a bunch of dudes at the print shop?
Yeah, and they were all just, like
burnout dudes? And
stoner
like
dudes.
Surfers and
Yeah,
that kind of guys?
totally. And
I
they
think
would
I know
like
the crew you're talking about.
we'd all look at each other, and then they'd walk up to the counter and deal with them, and they'd be really rude to the guys.
Like, I can do rude too. Watch this.
Yeah. So, I mean, but I never had any interest in going to those kind of things.
Okay, now second question.
Yes.
Horse racing. How many days have you spent at the horse track?
I have only seen one horse race.
You've been to one.
Well, it was at the county fair, Alameda County
That counts.
Fair.
That counts.
And I was there, and I walked up to the thing, and like, I was right at the railing.
Yes.
And it's so crazy when you feel the hooves, like the hoof beat as it goes by.
Yes.
It's nuts.
That's what got me to love horse racing, is standing at the rail and feeling them when they come thundering past. The ground shakes, the speed. You're like, I had no idea how fast they were.
And Golden Gate Fields
Yes,
in Berkeley or whatever, when you're on the freeway driving by, sometimes you can smell it.
Oh, yeah. Like, I used to live there in
That's my
Albany,
other-
on the other side of that hill from the track. The smell went up the hill and down the other side
That's
where we
my
lived.
other exposure to horse racing.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on that. Okay, well, so then you have some familiarity, none with the frat brother party, so I'll have to fill you in on
I get
that.
it. I know what the whole story is with it.
You've seen like an old beer can sitting out in the grass before, and you're like, I know this. Okay, well, feel that, all right?
Okay.
Now, it's time to meet our frat bros. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Their names are Chris Harn, like ham, but with an RM instead of an M.
Okay.
Right? Okay.
Like to do harm to someone.
No, like with an N. No.
Oh, Harn.
Like N, like ninja. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Harn. He's the brains of this bunch.
Harn.
And then there's Glenn De Silva. He's our good time guy.
Okay.
And finally, there's Derek Davis. He's also a fun time
Double
bro.
D.
Yeah, Double D's fun time bro too. Now, all three went to Drexel University. You know Drexel?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so it's in Philadelphia.
I have an honorary PhD from there.
Then you know it. So downtown Philly school. Their freshman year was 1991. So to put this in perspective.
Okay.
So Harn and De Silva, freshman year roommates. The two lived in the dorms together, get to know each other. And I was thinking about this when I was reading their story because I had a freshman roommate, but he was a transfer student and he was much older. He was like 28 years old. So we were not close. And I didn't always think about that poor dude. He would come back to the room and I'd be like on his bed getting busy and there'd be like, well, yeah,
God.
because there'd be like my clothes would be on my bed. I wouldn't have. So like I was the nightmare roommate for a 28-year-old man.
Sounds like it.
I was just like terrible. So I know if he was telling the story, he would have a nightmare roommate. He could tell. But I always think about
boundaries, Burnett.
I know, right? I always think about it. I was terrible. So the one thing I was thinking about though is that how many people I know who their freshman roommates either still are in their lives or was totally not in their lives. Like they had a very strong reaction. Me, like we got along when we shared the room, except for like when he'd find me in his bed. But shy of that, right?
Yeah.
We were cool. Now for you, did you have a college roommate that had some impact in your life?
I did. I had I lived in a suite, so it was like 3 rooms.
Oh, a bunch of you then. You didn't just have, okay, you weren't like
and
in
so
me, a little tiny room.
My roommate and I didn't really mesh, and she was never there, and so it wasn't like contentious, but it was just non-existent.
Just ships passing.
But one of my suite mates, actually, Laura, she became one of my closest friends in the world to this day.
There you go.
There it is.
Well, that's what Harn and De Silva did.
Harn.
Except for they also swirled in some crime and some cocaine. So
we did neither.
Yes, I know that's wanted to make a distinction
we swirled
between
in some, sunning ourselves in Chinese food.
Perfect call. So this group, as I've told you about, De Silva's the party boy, and then Chris Harn, his roommate. Though De Silva, he joins a frat his sophomore year. He gets his old roommate, Chris Harn, to help him. He's like, or not help him, but to join with him. He's like, oh, man, you got to rush. I'm rushing Tau Kappa Epsilon, man. The Teeks, right? Yeah, So the Teeks are like, usually one of the big frats, right? So these guys are like stoked. But this is a tech-first school. Drexel at the time was billed as the first wireless university in the United States, right? So a bunch of these dudes, including the guys we're talking about, they're like engineering students. I think Chris Harn, he was an informations technology student, so he's basically computer science. You love that. So, and his future co-defendant, Derek Davis.
Future co-defendant.
He was an engineering student. So all these guys, right, they're smart cats, except for De Silva. De Silva's more like a party boy. But even like these guys are frat boys, they're smart frat boys. So they think of Chris Harn as like one of their guys, even though he is the computer nerdy guy, right? Yeah. So these guys, they managed to spend 6 years at Drexel. None of them leave the school with a degree.
Oh, they're like super seniors.
Yeah, no, but none of them get a degree. They never make it out. So by 97, Harn is working at AutoTote. Now, I didn't know what AutoTote was. I doubt you have heard of it.
Is it like AutoZone?
No, but good guess. It's a company that's responsible for processing. 65% of the U.S. horse racing bets.
So that was not a good guess.
Well, it was in the sense it involved motion. So they no, it was not a good guess. I'm trying to be nice over here.
Don't waste your time.
So off-track betting in the 80s and 90s switches from, it used to be that 15% of bets came from off track, and then it was 85% were on track. Now it's switched to 85% of the bets are off track, and 15% of bets are placed at the facilities, right?
That's interesting.
So this was right when it was switching over. And so this is what inspired Chris Harn to go full outlaw. He's like, I see some stuff in this system other people don't see. He works his way up to senior programmer. So he's getting his eyes on all the technology. He's seeing all the gaps and junctions in their system. He knows where the weak points are, and he's like, I could exploit these. And he's a smart guy, so he's like, I want to exploit these, right?
Yeah.
So he calls up his frat bro, Glenn De Silva, who had moved to New York City, and he was underemployed at the time because, not a college graduate, and he'd been kind of a party boy. So at this point, he's developed a hell of a drug problem. He's now basically a cokehead in New York and just bouncing around. His life is spiraling. So when he hears from his old frat brother and roommate, Chris Harn, who reaches out to him, he's like, hey, man, De Silva, I bet you could want to get involved in this. I got this thing I want to tell you about. And he's like, what is this? Oh, it's a great way to make some fast and easy money. He's like, fast and easy money? I could use some of that. It turns out I have a coke problem. So,
so you're singing my song.
He brings in De Silva, and De Silva's like down. He tells him all about the scam. He's like, look, my idea is we can siphon off some of the hundreds of millions of dollars that are transiting through the off-track betting system. He's like, I don't understand what you're talking about. He's like, no, I got it all worked out. Nobody would ever notice. De Silva, In a word, curious. He's like, I got some coke to buy. Tell me more.
He's crime curious.
Yes, exactly. So Harn explains the scam in some technological terms I won't get into here. And it comes down to this. They're going to use uncashed tickets. So winning tickets that are in the system that never got cashed.
Oh.
He's able to find them. He can then print them up on some dummy tickets, sends the dummy tickets to De Silva. Now he's got straight up cash. He just has to go to a track or an off-track betting machine, which is basically like an ATM for gambling addicts. He'd have to go to one of those and go, hey, and cash in these tickets. And they're like casino vouchers now where it's like a receipt and it has a barcode and the amount of money.
Just scan it
so
in.
he can go in, occasionally he would go and place a bet and then cash out the rest. Sometimes he would just cash it out. But either way, they spend 2001 doing this. Well, basically, they started in November 2001.
So is this a common thing that where people place a bet and they never pick it up?
Oh, yeah, that's common. Just like with lottery tickets or people, like, they buy a lottery ticket, scratch it, they don't realize they've won, they drop it. People, like, will look for lottery tickets to see. This is often, there's billions of dollars spent in gym memberships every year that people don't use.
Well, I know.
Americans are really good at spending money and then just forgetting about
gift
it.
Cards.
Gift cards.
There's so many
billions
unused,
of dollars, yes, every year. So this was just one slush fund of money that he was like, hey, I could pull off some of this, right? So they start doing it. They travel around the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, cashing tickets. It was working like gangbusters, right? They're able to make about $92,000 over the course of 1 year.
Wow.
Just off of uncashed tickets. And nobody would notice this because Harn's pulling them out of the system. So they aren't really like, it's not like, how do I best put this? There is nobody looking for what he's doing. Because the money has essentially been paid out. So if the company doesn't have to pay it out, they're not looking for money that they didn't have to pay out. It just gets kind of pushed forward. Now,
I would just think that someone's like disaggregating that data to have like a tracking unclaimed.
They would if the system wasn't as old as like DMV and IRS computers. Because that's the other thing he knew is that
like
the system was super old. So it couldn't keep up, right? So he works out this little nice side hustle for them that's about $4,000 a month each. And as Jay-Z would say, they were making that easy cheese. Like, I check cheddar like a food inspector, right? They're pulling in all kinds of money, right? Just slices of cheese, right? Now, De Silva, he's taking this easy windfall and he's like, I can turn this into cocaine. He's buying so much cocaine.
Like an alchemist.
Yeah, he's like...
I just imagine like a big block of cheese.
He's like this.
And then he's abracadabra, Bobby Cadaver, and it turns into
he waves some betting tickets at it and it turns into cocaine.
Shazam.
So he's buying coke, Elizabeth, like he's nobody's business. Because he's like, okay, now as he's blowing through this money as fast as he can, he's like, you know what? We need to go bigger because I keep going down to Miami and Vegas and LA, basically on like a douchebag grand tour of America. And he's blowing his money so fast. He's coming back to Harn being like, hey, when are we going to do that again, man? That was great. We should do that again. Harn's like, man, like I'm kind of like I work here. I can't be like I have things to protect. I'm not like you, a loose cokehead just running around needing fast money. So let's be smart about this.
$4,000 a month extras. I mean, that's
good for a guy who has a job.
Very good.
Yeah, I mean that's just extra cream for him.
And if he's a smart fella, he's banking it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll get right
Gonna
into that.
Invest it.
So they start basically wanting to go bigger, right? And this is an issue that happens whenever you're doing a crime and it works well and people keep doing the same crime. They tend to do one of two things, which is either they get messy, they get sloppy, they get lazy, cocky, overconfident, whatever it is, they take their eye off the ball and they stop acting like what they're doing is illegal and it'll ruin their life if they get caught, right? And then the other thing that they can do is they can get greedy. Yeah. They can go, I want to go too big, I want to go too fast, I want to grab too much that I can't carry, right? These two decided to do both. All right, let's get lazy and greedy.
Oh, God.
So Harn has a plan. He's like, we need to go for one big score, and then I'm out.
That's always
So Harn, he's like...
There's the one big score, then I'm out. And then there's like, I've reformed. I'm never doing this kind of thing again. Yeah, this is the last time. And then maybe just this once. Oh, God.
So Harn's like, okay, I got a deal. He calls up De Silva. He's like, it's called a pick six. And De Silva's like, I know what a pick six is, man. And so if you don't know what a pick six is.
No, I don't.
It's a way to bet on the races of one day, which is you pick in a row all of the horse races and you pick the winner of all 6 races.
Okay.
And if you do that, there is a huge pot. And this can be, because they're doing off-track betting. You can be betting in New York on a race in Chicago. So you can get like millions of dollars into one track's bets. And if you're the only one or one of the few people to win this, it's like hitting a double parlay essentially. It is a crazy hard, astronomically impossible thing.
Of the 6 races, the
winner every single time.
One.
And so if you do that, you're gonna like kick home a big fat prize. And some of the races racing went through a hard time in the 80s and they started losing
Didn't we
money.
all?
And so they came up with this thing to like go, how do we imitate the lottery? So they kind of come up with this Mega Millions pick six pot idea where they, if nobody wins, they push the pot forward. So these pots get bigger and bigger.
Okay.
So they're like, you know what? We need to do that. But Harn's smart. He's like, let's not go for the biggest pot. Let's go for the biggest day of the year. So instead they pick the Breeders' Cup, which is the biggest race of the year when all these bettors will be putting in money. If they can pick that pick six, that'll be multi-million-dollar payday. So
that's a lot different than unclaimed tickets, though.
yes, very different. In fact, people pay attention to this one as opposed to the unclaimed tickets.
Yeah.
So as the days get closer, De Silva's into it, and Harn's like, we just have to work this out. There's a couple kinks, and then he started to realize that maybe De Silva is not the best partner to do this. And he's like, we need to bring in somebody else. And he's like, huh.
You mean he doesn't like the loose cannon?
The loose cannon cokehead is probably not the best plan for this guy who's like, I'm a homeowner, I've got a job, I'm recently married, this guy is not my guy. So after a short break, I'll tell you who he brings in to help seal this deal.
Yes.
All right, Elizabeth. So we're back with the frat bros who wanted to try to rig a horse race.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so Breeders' Cup 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's going to be the scene of our crime. Harn and De Silva, that's their big score. So far, everything's been smooth sailing. Like in terms you would understand, it's like sailing on a sea of Velveeta.
Oh,
right?
Now I see
smooth,
it.
right? I figured you'd get that one.
Yeah.
So you may be wondering, Zaron, how do you rig a horse race?
Honestly, I am wondering that.
Elizabeth, look at you. Yes.
I'm curious.
Normally I'm over here. I'm glad you asked. You're like, I actually want to know.
I really do.
Okay. Well, it comes down to another one of your favorite subjects.
Steroids.
Computer hardware.
Oh.
Steroids. Anabolic steroids. No. So
robots.
Remember I told you about the automatic off-track betting machines that are like the ATMs for gambling addicts?
Yes.
Okay. Those, they have a little, how do I best say, a weakness in the link of technology. And Harn has figured out that there is a timekeeping issue, that these machines, they will not send the answers to who has won the first races when there is a pick six. They don't send the answers to race 1, race 2, race 3, race 4. After race 5 is won, then all those races are sent in as one big group, and then the machine now knows, okay, who here has won all of these races? They're the only people who could qualify for the pick six.
Oh, okay. I see,
it's a way to save computer memory and processing because you don't have to go every single race. It's just this very small pool of who could win.
Yeah.
But what that means is there is a window of time where all 5 winners are known, and if somebody could get into the system, they could switch out a ticket. And Harn realizes this, and he's like, all I have to do is just, in that half an hour before the 6 races run, switch out the tickets through the system, and as long as I've got my dude who's got the ticket in person, we can make this work. Now, there's a little bit more technological details I'll tell you about the auto-tote system, but we'll pretty much keep this tech light.
Okay, thank you.
So if we go to the bets, there is a way that they're going to do the pick six. So as I told you, they won all the different races, and with the various races, it came down to the fact that the various systems that would report, they had to go through a touch-tone phone system, right? So that way they could electronically date and everything. But there was one track in the Catskills that was an off-track betting facility that had old non-touch-tone phones.
Like rotary phones?
Rotary phones. This is like 2002. So in New York, there wasn't a state law that you had to have. All the other places, there was a state law that you had to have these rotary phones for horse track racing. But for whatever reason, New York did not require it. So this place had just not done it. And Harn was aware of this. So there is his gap. There is one place that will not be able to, if he puts his bet through Catskill, they will definitely not be able to be marked because there's no touch-tone stamp.
Right.
That makes sense?
Right, it totally does.
Okay. So at this point, in October, they decided to do a dry run. He still got his boy De Silva working with him. So he's like, De Silva, go up to the Catskills. And so he does this off-track betting facility. And they practice. He goes and he buys some tickets, right? And he's going to place his bets with the tickets and then tell the results to Harn. And Harn then goes into the auto-tote system, switches the ticket that De Silva bought. So he had the first 4 races already like put in as one horse. He just basically picking one horse to win all the first races. He switches that horse to the ones who did win, and then now De Silva has to pick 6 horses, and then he'll automatically win the pick 6.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So they've limited the odds down to just pick the last horse race.
Right.
So they work it out, and it wins $1,800. He's like, oh, nice. They pick like some easy like harness race, something where there's not a big pot, nobody's going to notice. 2 days later, they do a second trial. This time they pick a bigger horse racing facility. They want to try it like a real run, right? Mm-hmm. They do this time at the Belmont track in New York. And if you know about horse racing, Belmont is one of the big 3 in horse racing. There's the Belmont Stakes, the Preakness, and Kentucky Derby, or aka the Run for the Roses. Right. So they're going like, let's go really try, because they're going to be real authorities, real investigations, so forth. Goes off without a hitch.
And they're doing this at the Catskills again.
Yeah, they go through the Catskills. That's where they place the bet, but they're placing the bet for a race at Belmont.
But so they have to interact with the staff at the Catskills.
No, they just have to go through their system. Because remember, they have these machines that are like ATMs. There's no person. They can just punch in a little code.
But I thought it was it wasn't.
They put the receipt in. Well, no, then it goes through a rotary phone system. Because the person is going, I don't know how the bets are being placed, but they can go through the machine, and then all of a sudden that is collated and then sent.
I'm just curious if at this one like analog shop, they're like, why is this guy nailing the pick 6 every day?
Yeah, so they're not catching up to it. Because, like, some people are lucky, whatever, and it's just one win. It wasn't like a big deal. Well, on the race at Belmont, they win $105,000, right?
Whoa.
Boom, that would be enough to get out, or for De Silva to buy mountains of cocaine.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But De Silva's like, no, I need more mountains of cocaine, right? So he's like, by the way, he takes that $105,000. They split it evenly, right? De Silva goes out, he buys vodka, cocaine, and some Ubers or whatever, right? He blows it real fast. Harn does what you said. He spends $25,000 to pay off his second mortgage.
Smart.
He takes $6,500. He pays off the remainder of his car. And then he makes one mistake. He emails De Silva all about what he's doing. He's like, take this money, put it into my mortgage. Take this money. He's telling them how to spend the winnings. So he creates a paper trail.
Oh, no.
That'll come back to bite him. Or as my man Stringer Bell from The Wire would say, never take notes on a criminal conspiracy. Of course, he said it more colorfully than that, but you get the idea.
I do.
So things are going well for these guys, right? And they're like, oh, we should, now go for our big one. We're going to go and take on the Breeders' Cup $1 million prize. But as with all things, there are the natural laws of crime. Now, Elizabeth, you know about gravity, one of my favorite subjects.
I do.
We've been in a lifelong feud with gravity.
I've often been the victim of gravity.
Yes, you know as well.
Yeah.
Harsh mistress. Well, just like how there are the natural laws like of gravity, what goes up must come down, there are also the natural laws of crime. Mm-hmm. For instance, Newton's third law of motion states that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Well, there is also a third law of crime dynamics, which I'm making up as we speak.
I'm in.
So the third law of my imaginary crime dynamics, it states that never steal more than you can carry.
That's a good one.
Right? Pretty good one. Pretty solid. Now, anyway, in this case, what that means is don't try to gank something that's so big that when you try to get away with it, you wind up leaving a trail that leads right to you.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's like if you bake up a bag of flour and it's just leaking.
Right.
So that's what they basically did.
That's very good.
So what these two brain genius frat bros decide to do is rope in another frat bro because they're like, for our big score, we're going to need somebody else other than De Silva. So Harn's like, because basically, he's done the personality index. He knows who his former roommate is. He's like, this guy's going to get me busted. Now, can you imagine pulling off $1 million scam with a cokehead as your partner?
No.
Right?
No, I can't.
You got to respect Harn for at least recognizing that one. But instead, he's like, how about I pick my old former engineering buddy, Derek Davis, who happens to be an undercover cokehead.
Oh, great.
He didn't know.
Oh, great.
Derek Davis is more mathematical, logical, I told you, engineering student than De Silva. But he's also, as I said earlier, a party boy too.
He's a little bit of a snowstorm.
So October 26th, the big day, 2002, the Breeders' Cup rolls around. Now we've got Harn, De Silva, and Derek Davis all lined up to run a frat boy, I don't want to say triple team, but basically they're gonna run a scam. All right, we'll just leave it at that. So Harn contacts the Catskill off-track betting facility, and he sets up an account for Derek Davis. He then places bets in Derek Davis's name.
So yeah, he hasn't bet. Okay,
Derek Davis doesn't even go to the facility. He just got an account open for him. He's going through the auto-tote system.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that he's able to do all sorts of crazy stuff. I'll get into it in a second. But basically, Harn does his normal thing. He buys tickets for Derek Davis, and each of the first 4 races, he picks the same horses to win. And then for the 5th horse and the sixth race, he has a combination. He's like, we just have to decide. We'll pick these. So they pick basically all the horses.
Yeah.
And what that means is that he would have like 96 possible winning combinations, right?
Yeah.
Now, the horses' names that we're talking about, I think you would have a great time naming a racehorse.
I love racehorse names.
Right? I think I wish that was a job that you could be like, they say dress for the job you want. I don't know how to dress for, I name horses.
Well, I think your outfit now is pretty good.
Pretty close.
Yeah,
with this, with the black cowboy and the sweaty pants.
The cowboy boots and the short shorts.
Yeah, and the tiara.
And the crop top. It's so good.
Thank you. I got dressed up today. I wanted to look special.
Thank you.
So these racehorses, the winning horses, I'll just run down their names. Harn had a ticket with the names that he would eventually change to. So these are not the names he bought the ticket
these
in,
are
but
the actual winners.
These are the winning horses that he would switch to once he dips back into the auto-tote system. And he would correct it so that it reads, Take Charge Lady to win race 1. Storm Flag Flying to win race 2. Dome Driver in race 3 to beat the favorite Rock of Gibraltar. And Orientate in race 4 to outpace Thunderella.
Thunderella.
I love these names. Okay, so for race 5 and 6, though, they just have the open spots. Although he's picked all of the horses, right? So they don't know. It'll just be one of them. And we'll get to that in a second, right? So Harn Davis has got his tickets. They purchased 6 tickets with all these combinations. It costs them $1,152.
Okay.
Right? Now it's time for Harn to get busy. So what does he do? Pops over into his recently paid off car, drives to work.
Just toodles.
Now, there's a problem with this. He's not scheduled to work that day. And if you've ever gone to work on the day you're not scheduled to work and start working, people notice.
It's a little suspect.
They're like, what's up with that? I hate this place. I'm not coming back here. Why are you here?
Totally.
So people notice, and they did. And meanwhile, frat brother Derek Davis calls up Harn on his cell phone, so there is a trail between the two of them constantly contacting each other on this day. Another thing you don't want to do.
Yeah.
So Harn, meanwhile, is at work, suspicious as all hell, talking on his cell phone with his future co-defendant, and the two men go over every last-minute detail, right? And what they hadn't planned for, though, because they got everything nailed down. The only thing they hadn't planned on, this thing I always recommend people pay attention to, it's something called the unexpected, or random chance, or what gamblers like to call bad luck.
The known unknowns, the unknown unknowns.
Exactly. Rumsfeld knew. That's one thing I got to give him credit on. So the horse that I mentioned earlier, Dome Driver, he was a 6-1 long shot, 26-1, right? He wins an early race against Rock of Gibraltar. This ruined most folks' chance at winning the pick six. Almost all of them had picked Rock of Gibraltar, right? Now, the track officials assume that means about 90% of the $4.7 million worth of tickets sold, the bets, they're all invalidated now.
Right,
so there's only 10% of the bets that can continue past the third race.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's now no really large legitimate group of bettors for Harn, Davis, and Da Silva to hide out in. It's a very small pool, right?
Yeah.
4:30, the fourth race starts, and after that race is won, the winner gets announced. Now it's time for the final horse needed for the Harn's racetrack betting scam to work, right? So he's at his auto tote desk. He accesses the off-track betting system. He accesses Davis's tickets. He changes all the bets that he needed to change. So now they have all their 4 winning horses. So now it's a half an hour to work. He's got to do a couple more things because there's at 5:01, the 5th race will start, and he's got to be all set by then, right? Mm-hmm. So to make sure that there's no record keeping of any of the things that he's doing, he erases the fingerprints of their crime. Brilliant, right?
Yeah, I was thinking there's the digital fingerprints on this. I mean, he has to be logged into a system.
Exactly.
You can't just change things without,
Yeah, so what he does is he knew that all these transactions at the Catskills were recorded on a backup tape, right? So he then goes into the auto-tote system, and I don't understand quite how he did this, but he was able to hack the system so that the Catskills backup tape was ejected from the VCR that it was recorded on.
No.
He then calls the Catskills and said, hey, man, I made a mistake at work. I ejected your security tape. Could you reboot that system? And so they reboot it. And so now they've erased any record of what he's just done. There is no evidence of their crime. It's kind of genius.
That is.
Right?
That's cool that he can eject tapes remotely.
I
would just do that all the time.
Just constantly, oops, did it again. So all that was left to do now is have race 5 and race 6 run.
Yeah.
So race 5 goes, the winner is announced. Race 6 comes up, the classic, the Breeders' Cup. This is the race. Elizabeth?
Yes.
I would like you to close your eyes.
Gladly.
And picture it.
I am.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You're at a racetrack. A horn blares announcing that it's time for the next race. You're standing at the rail at Arlington Park. It is a beautiful palace dedicated to horse racing. It is a temple to betting. It is the house that the Vig built. Now, it's a cold day in October. It's a slate gray sky stretches above you, but there you are, no storm clouds present, just a gray sky above you, gray Chicago day. You 40,000 people all there to enjoy a race at AKA the biggest payday in horse racing, the Breeders' Cup. So you've lost track of the French couple who invited you to this racetrack and who brought you there. They've wandered off, but you found this perfect spot
Jean-Luc, Marie, where'd you go?
Where did they go? So you found this perfect spot to watch the races. You're alone at the rail, just the way you like it, right there before the finish line. You look across the track, and the horses are getting loaded into the race gates. There's War Emblem. That's the Kentucky Derby winner and a Preakness winner. He was the morning line favorite. At this point, he's now a 3-1 favorite, a powerful animal on very delicate legs. You've gotten into the spirit of things, and you're just decided to place a bet on this last race. You look over at the odds on all the horses. You're running in the Breeders' Cup Classic, and you're like, okay, there's Medaglia Oro at 7-2 odds. There's some other favorites. There's Came Home at 4-1, Hawk Wing at 5-1, Evening Attire is 8-1. Then, of course, there's in the middle of the pack, you got Harlan's Holiday 10-1, Dubai 12-1, Milwaukee Brew 15-1 if you want to get a little saucy. But then there's the group that you're eyeballing. You got Macho Uno at 20-1, Perfect Drift, and Dollar Bill, the 30-1 favorite. Finally, Volponi, the 50-1 long shot.
Ooh, I like Volponi.
You latch your horse. You notice there's no connection between the names of the horses and the odds, but the more ridiculous the name, the worse the odds. You're like, huh.
That's my kind of racer.
Right? You're like, Bob Costas is calling War Emblem America's horse, and you're like, no, I want Volponi.
That is exactly how I would bet on this.
So Volponi is your horse, and at the 40-1 long shot, he's had 22 starts, 6 wins, 7 places, 3 shows. You're super excited to see him take off. Milwaukee Brew is the last horse in the gate. The horses are loaded. You're ready. Everybody's hyped. The crowd is cheering. Boom! The starting pistol is fired. The race is underway. In your hot hand, you look at your ticket. It says Volponi, and there he is. Volponi is racing. And they're off. The announcer booms. Horses thunder out of the gates. Hooves crushing dirt into the soil. Dubai is the early leader with Medaglia Oro as a front runner. War Emblem is running in second when they reach the first turn. Volponi is on the inside rail in fifth, just behind Perfect Drift. Macho Uno is in eighth. Milwaukee Brew in ninth. Hawkwing is unhurried in 12th. 12 lengths behind the leader is the last horse of all, Dollar Bill. Perfect Drift comes along in third. Medaglia Oro is in fourth. Your horse, Volponi, is in fifth as they approach the far turn. Came Home is coming up empty, the announcer proclaims, calling attention to the quietly quitting racehorse. Hawkwing has made his move. He's pacing horses on the outside. With him is Milwaukee Brew. War Emblem takes over the lead. Medaglia Oro is right there on his side. He looks like sunshine on his shoulder as they round the fourth turn. Volponi makes his move, hard charging through the middle of the pack. Volponi moves to the inside rail. Volponi passes War Emblem. Volponi passes Medaglia d'Oro. Volponi takes over the lead. He's on in front by himself. Oh, Milwaukee Brew has run his ass off to take over third. And there's Macho Uno. He's moved into fourth. All the crazy names are passing the favorites. The horses charge down the final straightaway. Volponi stretches his lead. All the favorites. He's got 4 lengths ahead. And the final straightaway. All Medaglia Oro can do is watch. Volponi has won by 6 horse lengths. Your horse is the winner, Volponi.
Wait, time out. That was amazing.
So your 40-1 long shot, he wins this huge upset. No one saw this coming. No one but you and the 3 men who rigged the betting. That's it. You guys are the only winners. But what you don't know yet, but what you will soon learn, is you just witnessed the biggest betting scandal in horse racing in the last 20 years to go down.
Wow.
And after this break, for some sweet, sweet ads, I'll tell you how Harn, De Silva, and Davis got caught. Okay, Elizabeth.
Zaron.
You're a brand new horse racing fan.
Yeah, I am.
Right? That's just the excitement. But you've been on the rail. Now you've done
I've
it
been
twice.
riding the rails.
Just going to set that aside over here. That goes there.
Riding the rails. I love trains.
That's what I know. That's what you meant.
Yeah.
I didn't think you meant the cocaine.
No.
Or did I?
No. Trains. Can I talk to you about trains?
Yes, you can. Yeah. But De Silva would like to talk to you about the cocaine.
I'm sure he would.
The cocaine.
Please hold.
So, of all the millions of dollars that were bet on the Breeders' Cup Classic, the mega pot of the Pick 6 Millions, there were a total of 6 winning tickets.
6 people picked all 6?
The weird part is all 6 tickets belonged to Derek Davis.
Oh, I was going to say, cha-dang.
Which
How did
was
that happen?
kind of a red flag to a lot of people. Like, for instance, one of the stories I was reading, there was a guy named Jim Quinn who was billed as a veteran racetrack handicapper, which I just think means he hangs out at horse tracks.
Yeah.
But anyway, he said at the time, quote, when you heard that a payoff that was supposed to be $3 million was a little more than $400,000, you knew something was up. So this is like the racetrack community's vibe. They're like, this ain't right.
Well, yeah, I'd say so.
Problem was that there was not just that War Emblem lost and Medaglia d'Oro lost, the two favorites.
Mm-hmm.
If either favorite had won, no one probably would have noticed because people would have picked this, right?
Yeah.
But it turns out that this means Davis had picked 4 long shots out of his 6 winning horses. Because remember, there were the earlier long shots. Well, of the 6 races, 4 of them were won by long shots.
And he had 6 tickets that said this.
Yes, and all of them, in the first 4 races, he picked all the right horses. And then in the last 2 races, he picked 6 horses or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was a bunch of hinky stuff in these tracks, right? So these bets. So people at the racetracks are like, I don't know about this. Meanwhile, Davis is like, pay me my money. So
really quickly.
Yeah, exactly. I got places to go. So your horse, the winner, Volponi,
the greatest horse ever to run.
Greatest horse, yes. Other than Zendaya, that's the greatest horse of all time.
Oh, okay, sure.
So the 6 winning tickets, they are a total of $3,067,821. That's the winning pot. $3 million for 3 guys to split.
And they put, what, $1,100 into
$1,100, so they all get $1 million.
All right.
So 4 days after his stunning pick 6 bet, Derek Davis gets interviewed by the New York Post, which is not the place I would go to for an interview if I was somebody trying to hide a crime. That's just me. They're suspicious as all hell.
I'm sorry, but I mean, think about like with the lotto.
Yeah.
Never go public with
No.
You don't want anyone to know who you are.
Just
you don't want
never go public. Just stop right there.
You know, what do they say? Like, you shouldn't have your name in the paper, only like birth, marriage, death, or whatever.
Oh,
I say 0 times.
Keep your light under a bushel.
Keep it out of the paper at all costs.
So he goes, he tells the New York Post, look, I'm just lucky. And they're like, I don't know about that, man. How upset? He's like, look, I was researching racehorses, and that's just what I do. And people are like, no one believes you, right? So Volponi. Did you know where that name comes from, by the way? I didn't know this. I had to look it up.
How's it spelled?
Volponi.
Oh, is it like I keep thinking of like Dupani silk. Is it like a fabric of something?
No, it was a post-World War II modern Italian poet and writer.
Oh, wow.
Volponi, right? And I looked him up. He had one book called Il Planeta Irritabile, published in 1978. In that book, Volponi tells the story of a dwarf, a goose, an elephant, and a baboon who all survive a nuclear holocaust.
That sounds amazing.
Afterwards, they all trek off together in search of a safe kingdom that they can all live in peace together. They brave dangers together. They battle the elements. They cross the world. They survive biblical rains and floods, but they never find a safe place to live free from nuclear war. It's this really amazing premise. It turns into like this desolate, depressing book.
And it sounds like it's my new favorite book.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of The Life of Pi, but just like the bummer Life of Pi, right?
My new favorite book.
Exactly. So there's this quote about Volponi's work that said, everything is pointless. Volponi is the Samuel Beckett of science fiction.
Oh my God.
I love this guy. So there's the inspiration for Volponi, your winning horse. And Volponi is perfect as the one to doom these frat bros. Everything is pointless. Nothing. Yeah, right? So Volponi, anyway, you and your horse are dooming these frat bros, race fixers, because their plan was perfect. It was so perfect. Only random chance doomed them. They had erased the evidence of their crime before they committed the crime. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
All they had to do was collect their winnings. But when Derek Davis went to the track, he's like, look, man, pay me my money. And they're like, no.
Yeah.
Because they're like, look, we are bad men. Maybe you don't know this, but racetracks are run by real criminals, and we are not giving up the money. We don't care if you have a winning ticket in your hand.
Exactly.
Because we think this is suspicious as all hell, and until we have a investigation.
Well, I think anytime there's that big of a payout, they're going to drag their feet.
They will drag their feet.
And
exactly.
say, we have to make sure everything is
And the racetracking
right
community,
place.
also, you have to remember, they're all in a snit about this.
Sure.
They're like, the fix is in. And this is off-track betting, so everyone's convinced that this means they're always having to deal with this. This is not just one time. This is questioning the whole future of horse track betting.
And there are 6 winning tickets.
Yes.
And he holds all 6.
All 6.
And he thinks he's just going to go up there and be
slide
like,
through all this.
Look at me.
I like researching the ponies. I
and
read the racing
enough
forum.
just to buy this one.
No, 6. And they all have the same weird random pattern. So the company that's in charge of off-track betting, they're like, this is not good for us. This is bad. This is bad business, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, we need to get to the bottom. So they tell the off-track betting people, we're on this, don't worry. So they go and they fire up an investigation. It doesn't take them long to find Harn. They're just like, it's this guy, right? So they call Harn in like, man, we need to talk to you. And he's like, no, I can't. I'm busy. I got a lot of stuff to do. They're like, no, your job, man. You need to come in. He's like, okay. So he comes in and he's like super like argumentative, standoffish. And the company's like, yeah, we're thinking this is kind of like a sign of guilt, right? So then he goes home and then his boss calls him. He's like, hey, Harn, remember that last day you came in for work? And he's like, yep. And they're like, it was.
Your day.
You're fired. So he's fired. And then it's like, at that point, it gets real argumentative and difficult. But the boss is like, it doesn't matter anymore. We're also going to tell the authorities about this. And he's like, oh, now keep in mind, at this point, Harn is now married. He has a 2-year-old child. This is not good for him. He's got a new home. And now the first one to get busted is Derek Davis because his name is on the tickets. It doesn't take long for the track investigations and the auto tow people to get together with the federal investigators from the FBI who all decide to look into this. And putting their heads together, they go, these winning tickets are bunko. And plus there's Derek Davis out there giving interviews to the New York Post, right?
Derek.
He's trying to answer why his win was so suspicious, which is never a good thing to do. But here's one answer he gives that I found just amazing. They're like, so your tickets were weird because you spent this much and did that. And he's like, oh, I can explain that. And I quote from the New York Post, his fingers slipped on the telephone keypad and he inadvertently punched in bets of $12 instead of $2. Then he confirmed a total of $1,152 in bets when he meant to only wager $192. Whoopsie.
My fingers slipped.
My fat fingers.
He was just, he'd been eating chicken.
Yeah, I got lucky with these greasy little digits. I got coke on this finger. It slips sometimes. So Derek Davis tries like, you know what? I'm going to go on the aggressive because, I do coke and I like to be aggressive. It's I know.
He's the secret coke guy, right?
Yeah, Derek Davis is the secret coke guy. De Silva is the real hard coke.
He has 2 wolves within him.
Derek Davis is like, you know what? I'm gonna go hard in the paint with the coke and not tell anyone.
Yeah,
so he comes
he's
out,
just like passed out somewhere.
He starts saying things like, and he has his lawyer saying this too. He's like, look, if they got proof that I did something wrong, then show it to me. If not, give me my money.
Well, they're like, oh, proof you want.
Now, the New York Times goes and talks to his family, and they're like, hey, congrats. And then his father's like, I know a lot of people are asking questions, but this is legit. And he says, and I quote, I know in the bottom of my heart that it's a legitimate bet. I got bad news for you, Pops. Harn and De Silva, they get dragged into this when they also get named in a federal criminal complaint as co-defendants. So now all 3 are co-defendants under federal charges.
Across state lines, right? And on the wire. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and RICO, they got all of it. They're hitting switches on this one, right? So about 2 weeks to the day.
They're hitting the pick 6 on it, really.
There you go. I saw what you did.
Thank you.
So this is about 2 weeks after Halloween, which was the day that Harn was fired on. All 3 co-defendants.
Was he dressed as like a bumblebee?
That would be amazing. You go in to get fired, you're dressed in like a costume.
You just see him walking out of the office park with his bumblebee costume and his head down in a box full of like his stuff.
No, he's still got that like the bee head on and the eyes are on springs, all sad, things,
and the security's like, come on.
Going his stuff in a
he's
box.
Having trouble getting into the Sentra. Like it's hard to fit the big bumblebee
can't get the
costume.
Wings in.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Let's just say that happened.
That happened. So he couldn't get his bumblebee wings in. He closes the door, broke his wings. He gets home all sad, right? His wife's like, honey, what happened? He's like, I gotta go turn myself in tomorrow. And she's like, that's not good. I'm going to get a lawyer of my own.
Go, good for her.
So the 3 men, they all get charged and released on bail, $200,000 in bail, right? The next day, the men are all scheduled to appear in federal court. So when they arrive, they're asked to perform apparently something that is routine, but I didn't know this, routine drug tests. Both Derek Davis and Glenn De Silva failed their drug test. They both get pinged for cocaine, frat bros to the end.
Well, they figured. They're like, look, as long as we're here.
Yeah, let's do a couple rails, huh?
Yeah, So when you said they have to do a routine, I thought it was like a dance routine. I didn't know they had to do this. They're like, do the Thriller dance.
Like, do you guys know the old soft shoe? So Derek Davis, Glenn De Silva failed their drug test. And Elizabeth, can you guess? Just because you notice when I tell these stories, often the U.S. attorney is someone famous. Again, we have a famous U.S. attorney.
Oh, 2002.
2002, who was a prosecuting U.S. attorney in this case on the East Coast.
East Coast.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you a hint if you want.
Yes, please.
He would later run the FBI.
Comey?
Yes, James Comey is a U.S. attorney, and he's in charge of bringing justice to this case. And he decides, you know what, I'm going to do a little stand-up routine. So every time he talks to the press, he starts working to like a quick five, right? So he's like doing things like they're asking him about like, do you guys have the evidence to bust these people? And he's like, yeah, well, you have to understand. He starts comparing these guys to Robert Redford and Paul Newman in The Sting because he's like, I want you to understand what kind of guys they are.
Close your eyes. I want you to picture.
So they're a lot like the guys in The Sting, right? The press are eating it up. Oh, tell us more. And so they're like, hey, Comey, these frat bros, would they one day be in a movie? Will we all see you guys on the big screen? And Comey's like, no, the movie was already made, but with much better looking people.
Oh my God.
James Comey.
Jim.
So Comey, he loves a fresh burn, you know? He's like,
right?
So he's in there, and Harn decides that if he ever wants to see his wife and young child again, he needs to take a plea deal and listen to Comey. So he takes Comey's offer, and that means the mastermind has now rolled over on his frat bros. Some bonds just don't last, I guess.
Oh, man.
His frat bro De Silva, right? He's been heated this whole time, just like Derek Davis. Both of them are on the aggressive side. He's like, there's scant evidence. They can't prove this. He's like, no, I deny it, right? His lawyer's denying it. Everything until Harn decides, I'm going to flip and tell the feds everything. But when I say everything, he told them crimes they did not know about. So he duped them all. He tells them about the unsold tickets. He tells them everything.
What?
So, yeah. So Harn is like, he spills it. He was like, if you took a glass of milk and just spilled it, right? But then you took another glass and threw that one down, and then you're like, where's the bottle? You know?
Right?
So Derek Davis immediately pleads guilty. De Silva pleads guilty because they don't have a leg to stand on now.
Yeah.
Harn, he gets sentenced to 1 year and 1 day in prison because his judge has a sense of humor. Mm-hmm. He had a minimum security prison. De Silva gets 2 years in a federal prison. Derek Davis catches the worst of it. He gets 37 months, so 3 years, 1 month in federal prison. Boom. Bet you learned your lesson now, son.
Wow.
Right? So what happened to the winnings? Did the track get to keep it? Did the mob go, what money? You know,
did it just roll? I would imagine it just rolled over to the next one.
No, they had to pay it out because of all the bad blood. So they decided, breaking all traditions, there were 42 people who had guessed the correct 5 of 6 winners. They got to split the $3 million pot because they had to have some winners. Somebody's got to win on this one.
I thought they'd give it to like the SPCA.
No, they're not you. No. I got one last surprise for you in this course.
Yes.
The course of this case. Okay, so the racetrack industry, they're facing a problem because now the future off-track betting looks like it's insolvent and not legitimate, and that's going to be a big issue. So they say, how do we save the dignity of our sport? So who do you think they call in to save the dignity of horse track racing? 2002.
2002. Golly.
Rudy Giuliani.
Oh, my God.
Yes, Judy Giuliani.
Judy Giuliani.
Makes an appearance.
Oh.
Yes, you have to remember, November 2002. This was a very different Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, it was.
Because now we think of like,
he was America's mayor.
America's mayor.
And now I will forever see the hair dye rolling down the side of his face. And one of my favorite things, the Four Seasons landscaping. Yes. I have a T-shirt for Four Seasons landscaping that I wear all the time. Because that's
that about you.
That was the greatest thing. And I needed it when it happened. I really needed that. Yeah.
It's the gift that keeps giving.
It really is.
So that's the Giuliani we know, but that's not the Giuliani of 2002.
Oh, no,
he did the job back then. Everyone's like, yeah, he saved horse track racing essentially.
How?
Because he restored dignity. He did like this whole report. He had his security team because he had Giuliani and partners. They basically, we do security work, right? And it's like him and like Bernard Carrick. They got into security after 9/11, right? So
right.
he's sitting there doing that, and so they were like, oh yeah, this is a security issue. So he has his team, his crack team of security experts go in there.
The Judy Giuliani seal of approval.
Yeah, he's like, you need a horse track betting czar, and you need to update your technology. They're like, oh, we're on it. I love it. Great. So then everyone else, the bettors, were like, oh, it's been fixed.
Yeah.
So horse track betting and racing was able to continue on. It was like a real crisis.
And then all the horses started dying.
That's the modern crisis. Yes. Yeah. That's why you do not like horse track.
Correct.
Yes, I understand. Well, I got one last one for you, as I told you.
Yes.
So this is a final irony of this one. Uh-huh. The very next year, someone won a pick six at the Breeders' Cup.
No.
Everyone lost their minds. Like, this cannot be happening again.
And his
it was
name
one person.
Barrick Bavis.
Yeah, exactly. No, it turns out that it was a businessman. He was a regular bettor. He walked into a betting parlor in South Dakota where he normally placed bets on races all across the country and stretching to Dubai and Australia. He was a bettor, right? So when his bet hit, naturally, everybody knew him. He was investigated investigated. They're like, oh, yeah, that's it.
This guy,
that's him. And
they've
like,
already soaked him for that amount.
He's pretty much, He basically now, he broke even. So he won $2.6 million and broke even.
Exactly.
So that was the final one. So there you go. What is our ridiculous takeaway from this one?
We have a couple lessons learned. Mm-hmm. Don't steal more than you can carry.
Yes, good one.
Don't do business with cokeheads.
Yeah, that's another good one.
Which is just, pretty standard. And I don't know. And then Rudy Giuliani will save horse racing.
There you go. Hope you enjoyed that one.
I did, very much so.
Thanks for listening. You can find us online at Ridiculous Crime on both Twitter and Instagram. Twitter is for the discourse. Instagram is where we put up the photos and the funny stories. And, if you like giggles, I go there. You also get sneak peeks for new eps on both Twitter and the Gram. Email us if you want at ridiculouscrime@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Ridiculous Crime is hosted by Elizabeth Dutton and Zaron Burnett. Produced and edited by the horse whisperer Dave Koustin. Research is by the winningest jockey in the history of the Belmont Stakes, Marissa Brown. Our theme song is by notorious horse traders Thomas Lee and Travis Dutton. Executive producers are Derby Grand Marshal Ben Bowman and Noel Brown.
Ridiculous crime.
Say it one more time.
Ridiculous crime.
Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.